On behalf of Unchained Africa and the Media and Creativity Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association, it is a pleasure to welcome you all to the Freedom Bike Summit 2024. Recently, there has been a ban on the use of police uniforms in movies and skits. The police claim it is illegal under Section 251 of the Criminal Code to use police uniforms in movies and skits without permission. Whereas Section 110 of the same law exempts artists from seeking permission when the purpose is for artistic performance or public entertainment.
Listen carefully. This section shall not apply to the wearing of any uniform or dress in the course of a stage play or in any bona fide public entertainment. God bless you.
There is a law that does not have any proviso. It is general, it is broad, and it is binding on everybody. And that is Section 251 of that same criminal code, or Section 169 of Criminal Laws of Lagos State. That one is not talking about impersonation. That one is talking about bringing content to the uniform.
The PPR is telling us that there has to be a balance. But we know that there have been so many issues where there was no balance. There was no balance. It did not suit the populace. It suits the police people. It suits the people they represent or the people they cover up for. And we're telling you that the people, there's supposed to be a balance. I'm supposed to get justice if I was misrepresented, if I was intimidated, if I was extorted, if a crime was committed against me. But that didn't happen. And you're telling me that if I must represent that in a script, there must be a balance. How does that work?
It is okay for a government agency to say, oh, you must get approval or permission. But when the law already gives you a power or the authority to do something, you don't need any other subsequent permission from, any extra imposition is illegal ab initio.
Anybody who is born in Nigeria knows that the police is almost a menace. Everybody knows there have been issues. Everybody, almost 80% or 90% of this all have gone through it. So this is our reality. And we are trying to make them understand that it's our reality. And then they are trying so hard to paint it in a way that we can't talk about it. I think this is very wrong.
And that's ridiculous. That's one negative aspect of it. If you train properly, you don't need to be, wrecking and be oiling people's pockets of ego for money.
If you go to the police store, you will pay to buy those things. It's not free.
Be professionals, train properly, do the right thing.
Trigger some concerns for me. And one of those comments, one thing I've heard is this call for authorization and for permission. We must understand that the right to speech is one that is sacred. In fact, it is the most fundamental of all rights. And the law already provides civil limits to that right to speech. In other words, the right to expression or freedom of speech actually subsumes that exception that I just read. It provides so to the section of the criminal code that talks about or that restricts the use of certain uniforms. So it is an exception. It is a product of the right to free expression, the right to satire. In fact, if you look at the Copyright Act, satire and mimicry and and things like that, they all form exceptions to certain types of protected use.
There is a thin line between censorship and classification. If you are censoring a film, there are conditions precedent for censoring a film provided by the European law. And if you are classifying a film, there are also conditions precedent for you to follow in classifying a film. But the difference is that when you are classifying a film, you look at it and rate it. You don't tell anybody expunge. If you are making a film, you ensure that the film educates. Don't just make a film because you want to make a film. Does it promote unity? And does it undermine national security? These are the things we put into consideration. If you make a film that will cause a reaction, political reaction, censors will not approve it.
If my reality is something I didn't get justice for, and I make a script that I had an issue and I never got justice, and I make a script in that direction and it was acted, you are telling me because I did not represent you that that justice can be gotten, then that movie is invalid. Is that the situation?
We're here to guide and to give us the true position of the law regarding the unlawful wearing of uniforms. And the proviso says, provided that this section of this code shall not apply to the wearing of any uniform or dress in the course of a stage play or in any bona fide public entertainment. The operative word is shall. It's a command. And this exemption, to my own mind, and I speak on behalf of the NBA, which is why we're here, to provide clarification. Skit makers do not even need any written permission. I just wanted to highlight that. And then if we go to another law, it's section 79 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State, 2015, which affects LASMA and all that, and other uniformed armed forces. Subsection 2 of that law says, this section shall not apply. Again, the word is shall, which is a command. This section shall not apply to the wearing of any uniform or dress in the course of a stage play or in any bona fide public entertainment.